We are live and everyone can hear us.
What up, everybody?
What's up, guys? What up?
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah.
Happy Thursday.
Almost there.
If you're in the chat, let's hear yes. Let's see who's here. Say hello. Say hello. Boys, how are we doing today?
Subscribers going up every week.
By one.
Slowly but surely. Ticking up.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
That's the hard
That'll
thing.
shoot up.
I followed a new guy today, and he streamed and he had 15 viewers today. It was 4 hours ago, and his numbers are roughly the same as ours.
Okay.
And then I looked at his thing, and he has 1,700 videos.
Wow.
And I'm like, yikes. I mean, good for him,
Yeah,
like, but
seven?
it has more to do with like the grind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, like, we worked pretty hard to get the numbers we get on just the podcast sides. The YouTube sides is like starting all over again, you know?
Yep.
So, Don, what
Hey,
up?
Don.
Don, good to see you. Good to see you. Nice to hear from you. I really like hearing from Don, boys.
I do too.
Yeah.
You even told me way to go, coach, on one of my posts the other day. That was so nice.
Joey, good to see you. Good to see you. I guess a little insider information we're not going to disclose, but we will say to anyone who's here listening, we got some exciting stuff on the horizon. Would you guys not say?
Oh yeah,
Things are cooking.
Things are cooking.
Yeah.
Things are cooking.
cooking better than Russ.
For now.
That's not saying much though. That's like my cooking.
That's
Yeah.
like
I
easy.
know.
That's like easy.
I know.
All right.
Willingly walked myself into that one.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm excited for this episode. I got some good news. Some good news out of. Well, it's not necessarily good news. There is news that I'm excited to give Jake a hard time about.
Ooh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it the Tyreek Hill thing?
Oh, it's a lot.
Okay. Well, the Tyreek Hill thing is not anything we're talking about quite yet, in my opinion. But it's fine.
I can't wait though. Jordan.
We'll see.
All right,
We'll see.
boys, are you ready to get going?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. We're live on YouTube right now. YouTube.com/Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. You clearly know that if you're watching this part, but usually Thursday. We're live. So, anyways, that was not needed to say. So let's just keep going. You guys ready?
All right.
Yep.
Welcome back to Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here to help you take the next step of your fantasy journey. My name is Jake, and I am joined by the coach, Adam. Adam, how are you doing?
Good. I was waiting for you to ask. I'm doing great. Life is good. Not a lot has changed since last time I said how I was doing, so I'll keep it brief. Just golfing a lot and living life, man.
Hey, that's some good stuff. I threw you up the power rankings today because we're also joined by my friend Jordan as well.
Oh, how's it going, Jake?
Yeah, you got knocked down a peg today because I know you're going to give me a hard time during this episode.
That you got moved. Adam got the
yes.
first intro.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's just
All
part
right.
of the thing. It's the NFC South, guys. We are finishing up our series of breakdowns. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it. It is it's a trip for us to do. I am also ready to start talking about something else.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's end of June. We're getting into July. I'm drafting soon.
Yes, in fact,
Yeah.
we are going to break down the June League next week, boys. I didn't tell you that yet, but we're going to do that.
Can't wait.
We still have a few spots in the July League as well. If you want to join, it's on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Get in there. We're doing slow drafts, which is fun. So for anyone who doesn't know what that means, it means you have an 8-hour timer. You have 8 hours to make your pick, and it takes a few weeks to do the full draft. I kind of like it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a few. I did one, obviously the June League, and that was fun. I enjoyed it. It kind of takes time, and we also did.
I like trades. I like that trades happen more.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
you just get more time to like kind of process, think about your team, make deals. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. In the chat, Joey's in the chat. He's going to be running a mile. He has a streak that has
Marathon.
lasted
A marathon, not a mile.
He has a run streak of 2,000 days.
Good
Holy
job, Joey.
guacamole.
Hey, good luck, man. It's not an easy task. Good for you.
And then Don says, "Oh, hey, Coach Adam, I'll be buying a meal to donate to your football team. Will Uber Eats deliver to Atlanta?" Seriously, though, I'll buy a meal.
Hey, that is awesome, Don. No, they don't deliver that far, but I really appreciate it.
Maybe you know what we need to do. So for Adam, if you want to explain kind of what he's talking about.
Yeah, we're fundraising a little bit in this off season. We do a normal fundraiser when the season hits, but we're just doing a cookout. Today we did it, and next Thursday raising money for the football program, for equipment, weight room, everything, helping some coaches out, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a great turnout. Community loves football in this town, and so that's what Don's talking about. So it was a fun day.
Good shout out to Black River Falls. Way to show up, guys.
Yeah.
Go Tigers, baby.
Maybe we need to donate. Or donate a shirt or some shirt or a sweatshirt for people to bid on or something.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into the NFC South, we're going to play our game. Today we're going to play. We have played this one other time on the podcast. It was a long time ago. We're going to play 1 or 0. What?
Jake, I just want to first off appreciate that you prepare these games for us, and it's fantastic. I've got a question for you though.
Yeah.
What kind of government do we run in our country? Like, what's our political system?
We are a democracy, if I do believe.
We are. So voting is really important, right?
Well, yes, I guess.
So Jordan and I voted. You were absentee today, but if we voted now, you'd be outvoted.
Okay.
We have a game for you.
Oh,
and we are turning the tables because you always pick on us when we lose, and we've got a good one for you today. You can save your game for next week.
Oh, man. But, okay. It's fine. That's fine. My game had to do with stories that happened this week, so...
Oh, well, we'll have stories next week. That's okay.
God, that was so much work I put into that today. Okay.
Oh, we could get you next week, though, Jake. We could
it doesn't matter.
This game travels. This game travels
It
to
doesn't
next
matter.
week.
You guys want to do your thing?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, it's already planned.
Okay, let's do it.
Jordan and I prepared a game. You have 3 minutes, which is what
3 minutes. Okay.
Us, right?
Okay, this better be fair, though.
It is fair. I think it's very fair.
It's as fair as the ones you give us, Jake.
In fairness, I'm also by myself.
Well, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna call Don in quick.
No. So, he looks nervous.
I am nervous.
So you have 3 minutes.
Okay.
And the over-under is 7.
Okay.
Okay.
Or 6.5. If you could get 7, that's a win.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
6.5. Most accurate field goal kickers in NFL
No, I've already looked this up.
With more than 100 attempts.
God.
With more than 100 attempts. I want to see how good you do.
Oh my God. My game was so much better. You guys have wasted our time. God, I've already looked this up, and I looked at it and said, let's not do this because...
But then we'll see how good your memory is if you look it up.
Oh my gosh. All right.
3 minutes on the clock, Jake.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Set? Go.
Adam Vinatieri.
He is not on the list.
That's a strike
If
one.
I strike out fast enough, can we play my game?
Sure, but...
Mason Crosby. No, he's not on the list.
That's strike 2.
Morton Anderson.
Couldn't you...
That's 3 strikes. 1, 2, 3. Jake, think about kickers now. A lot of these guys are current kickers.
This is Mike Vanderjack.
That's one.
Yep.
We'll take one of your strikes off the board. You got one.
Justin Tucker.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
He's number one on the list.
Accuracy.
Yeah, 91%.
91.1. Brandon McManus. Guys, this is why I didn't do it.
You're not very
kickers
good at this.
Suck.
Jake,
not very good at this.
Oh my God.
Well, Jake, you've lost.
This is the worst. We're only 6 minutes into this. We're still playing my game. Screw you guys.
Can I tell you the top 10 for you?
What? Yeah.
So you had Justin Tucker, that's number 1. Harrison Butker.
I almost said that one.
Younghoe Koo.
Oh my God.
Chris Boswell. Daniel Carlson. Josh Lambo. Robbie Gold. I can't believe you didn't say Robbie.
Yeah, come on, the legend.
Will Lutz. That's a surprise. Mike Vanderjagt. You said him. And Kai Forbath.
Number 10. Jake, I thought you were better than
this. This is fun. This is really good. I'm really glad. Most leagues get rid of kickers now, so it's...
No, they're so important.
We still thought you would do really well.
Oh my God.
Here's a great story for those listening.
God.
1 year in our home league, in the championship round, someone lost on a missed extra point.
Don't do it.
It was a field goal. It was a field goal attempt.
Oh, it was a missed field
Yeah.
goal attempt,
Get
and
Matt
they lost
Prater.
the championship because of it.
Yeah.
By
Anyways,
less than a point. I don't want to
Yes.
talk about who that person was.
now listen. All right, both of you, shush. The only reason why we're still going to play my game is because I've looked at this NFC South and there's not much to talk about. All right, we're playing 1 or 0. The way it works, 1 meaning yes, 0 meaning no. There is no gray area, which, by the
Yes
way,
or no? 1 or 0?
is how I feel life is, but we don't need to get too into that. I have looked up 3 stories from across the world. These are not football related, but they're going to make you think. Okay?
Okay.
So you guys ready?
Can I say what
Yeah.
Don said about your game, Jake,
Go ahead,
that
yeah.
we just played? Jake looks as defeated after that game as the Falcons will be all season.
Okay, well, probably. Unless you're Bijan. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready. Here we go.
All right, and you need to explain why. 1 or 0. Here's the story. An Iowa woman was arrested on a Southwest flight this week after punching a man multiple times in the face because he leaned his seat all the way back. 1 or 0, it is okay to lean your seat back on a plane.
0.
Why?
I would like so I was on a flight from Orlando to Milwaukee, and it's not that long of a flight. But this person in front of me who shouldn't have been leaning their seat back leaned it back, and I had about this much room and had the most uncomfortable flight in my life. You know, it's already uncomfortable no matter where you're sitting, seat up. I say 0 because why make the person behind you miserable just because you're miserable?
Perfect. Jordan?
Does the length of the flight matter? No. Black and white, right?
Black and white.
Yep.
Okay. Then it's a 0. That you do not lean your seat back. And let me tell you, it's because the airline sells that space to both seats.
Yeah.
They sell it to the person in front, and they say, oh, you can recline this far. And they sell it to the person whose seat it is because they have X amount of space in front of them.
Is
Yep.
it
A sham.
1 or 0, it is acceptable to lean your seat back at all?
In first class, yes, because there's enough room.
Okay. Well, I would say if it's like a long flight.
Are we talking 1 click?
And then everyone leans their seat back.
Oh.
When everyone leans their seat back, you can.
Jor-
But that's like, it's a long flight, it's overnight.
Jordan, why, Adam, does it not sound like Jordan would like turn around and be like, hey, I'm going to click back 2 clicks. I need
He would
you
totally
I
do
need
that.
you to turn around and tell the person behind you to click back 2 clicks.
But what happens with the last guy who's against the wall and he can't?
That just stinks for them. That's a bad scene. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. All right, number 2. And this is I need you to think, and I don't want you to be mean or rude here, but a high school where is this? Sorry, I'm looking up. A team of Connecticut high schoolers danced in a Congo line for nearly 16 miles this week to break the world record and raise money for an adult care center. 1 or 0, dancing. Your dancing is cool.
My dancing?
Your dancing is cool.
Personal opinion or what other people think?
1 or 0.
1, man. Get the shoulders into it. Just,
Oh my gosh.
Mine's going to be a strong 0, but it doesn't stop me from doing it.
See, that's the correct answer.
Yeah.
You know you look bad, and it doesn't matter though because listen, you don't I've learned this late in life, like in probably the last few years. It doesn't matter if you're a good dancer, just as long as you're moving around and having fun, right? Because no one likes the people who refuse to dance.
right.
It's always just a bummer when you're standing there doing your thing and you know you look stupid, and then all of a sudden this couple next to you just starts doing moves,
Yep.
and that's when the circle forms because everyone just gets out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! See, perfect. All right, great job. And I've seen you both dance, and it's not good.
No, it's not. It's not a good sight.
What
But
about-
it doesn't.
what
I'll
about-
do it.
What about just
Well,
in
it's
general?
not terrible.
What about in general? Do you think dancing is cool?
Yeah.
Yes. 1.
I've never been much of it. I don't know. I just don't. Whatever. All right.
Jake,
Last thing.
you
and
can't say that.
blasphemy. And this is the last thing, and this is something that I'm sure everybody has been following, right? A submarine went missing this week. They just found it. It looks like it is decompressed. Super sad stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys been following any of the details of it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you know that it is run or controlled with an off-brand Xbox controller. It's a Logitech. You can get it for $29 at Walmart.
The lights were from Camping World. Inside the sub.
It's sad.
The plastic was cheap. Anyway, yeah.
It's sad, but it's just like, oh my god. All right, 1 or 0, they'd have to pay $250,000, right? 1 or 0, you would pay any money to go 16,000 feet below the surface.
To see the Titanic, right?
Yes.
0.
And I could play $1.
say.
I could pay $1.
You could go for free. Jordan, you go first.
0. Big 0. I would rather go to space than
See,
go
I was gonna get
under
to that.
in a submarine. Yeah.
I agree with you there. I would go to space too. Historically speaking, to see the Titanic would be awesome. I'm saying a 1. I would do it.
But
let's be real. I'm single. I have no kids. I love my nephew to death. I know he'd miss me.
you're not a billionaire.
But I'm not. You know, if I paid $1 to do it, they ran 26 successful underwater flights to the Titanic. I don't know. It's like flying a plane. There's a crash now and then.
The way my coworker told me, which I thought was a great way to explain it. When I go on a plane, I don't want to go on a propeller, right? You put me on a jumbo jet. As soon as they can give me the equivalent of a jumbo jet going to the Titanic, I will go.
All right.
But I don't want the little rinky-dink Xbox PlayStation controller.
To be fair, they coordinated their exterior, which is how it imploded. Like something got in and it imploded, which is insta horrible.
Well, in fairness, it's
NASA
probably
NASA and some other big company did coordinate to build the thing, so there is some validity there. I don't know.
Did you guys?
It's crazy.
Did you guys hear all about the stepson of one of the guys?
Mm-mm.
He's currently feuding with Cardi B.
About it?
Jeez.
Oh, geez, about it. And he went to a Blink-182 concert in the middle of this, and yikes. The whole thing's super sad.
It is a sad situation.
It is
sad.
But this is a point in the history where for 90 hours it was the only thing people were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's true.
And it has come to an end with a sad way.
Yeah.
So really bummer way to end that game. You guys did good.
Would you go? Did you answer if you would go?
Oh, I would not.
Okay.
Not a chance.
the jumbo jet thing.
Yeah.
Jumbo jet.
Yeah, put me in space.
Yeah.
All right. Honestly, I'd rather not do either. I'd rather stand on the ground. But
I'd stand land.
yeah.
All right. Jordan with the news time.
Jordan with the news.
I got some. Thank you. All right, we have some interesting stuff because we're in mini camp. Lots is happening. I'm starting with something about a football player, non-football related. Our dear friend Aaron Rodgers, the New York Jet, spoke today at a psychedelic conference in Denver. So that's pretty interesting. So he's obviously out doing his thing.
Jordan, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
I have a glorious quote from Aaron Rodgers and just a very nice paragraph from the guys at DK Nation, so that's DraftKings, if you would allow me to read it.
Please.
All right. Let's see. Here it is. Here it goes. The interesting part of his section came next when he said the media calls him a druggie and a hippie. And then, without meaning to, he sounded like, well, a druggie and a hippie. Rodgers said, quote, "You know, words are so interesting. They have such power in their spells. There's a reason it's called spelling, because the way the letters are put together has such power. I'm not a linguist by any means, and he's not technically wrong." Unquote.
Wow.
That world's changed.
Do you know what he sounds like? So I was looking into this conference, right? And there are people there, scientists there, who are trying to, talk about discoveries they've made and how psychedelics could be helpful for mental health and all this stuff. It's real stuff. It's not just a druggy convention. And he sounds like a guy who got there and realized there are a lot smarter people around me, and he's just trying to save face.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But yes, bonkers. He also said that hundreds of players have reached out to try and learn more about ayahuasca. Hundreds.
Maybe that's true. I don't know. I don't know if I buy it, but
1 or 0, Aaron Rod, after the season's done, or after his career's done, he will open a mushroom farm.
0, that'd be too public for him. I don't know. Never mind. No, he might do it.
Jake Plummer, fun fact for you. Jake Plummer, former quarterback for the Denver Broncos, Arizona Cardinals. He is super successful. He has a mushroom farm.
Mm-hmm.
A little fun fact for you.
Curious. All right, moving right along to my favorite piece of news.
All right,
I can't wait to talk about. Adam Schefter reports, so reputable source, that in San Francisco, the depth chart currently, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold has the edge over number 3 on the depth chart, Trey Lance. Jake, care to comment?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jordan. This is fantastic.
I do care to comment. That's my comment. Like, listen, when I made the prediction, was right at the offseason had started, right? I still think it made sense, but how bad is this guy? Like, I know you guys said, like, okay, Purdy has proven that he should be the starter based on how he played, right? And Lance was hurt. We barely have gotten to see him, so that's why he's going down the depth chart, right? But how bad is he really right now? If Sam Darnold is taking over, like, it's shocking to me because, I mean, it shouldn't happen 2 years after being taken, 3rd overall. Adam's going to be like, I knew it. You did not. You did not know he was going to be so bad that he'd be behind Darnold.
I called him
Check
a joke.
the tape.
Yeah,
He played for like 3 quarters. You can't. There is no tape. That's like saying Jordan Love's going to suck. Check the tape.
No, I said, check the tape of the podcast. I did call him a joke, so I did kind of predict it.
You did not predict this, though.
Adam and I have had the same end state where we said Brock Purdy should be the starter.
That's fine.
I've taken the approach that Brock Purdy earned it as a starter. Adam is saying that Trey Lance is not the competition. He's been harping on that for a long time. I give you that credit for that.
Over Sam Darnold, not Trey Lance.
So anyway. Very interesting.
So do you think Sam Darnold starts a game if Brock Purdy isn't ready by week 1? Which I think he's aiming that way, but still.
I'll double down. I think Darnold's the guy there if Purdy can't go.
It's just, you're not going to get... I think a little issue here is that if week 1 starts and Purdy's not ready... If you don't trade Lance, you're never going to... Or not trade. If you don't start Lance and don't give him a shot, you will get nothing for him forever. Like, you're never going to be able to trade him. Like, if I was the GM and if I want to start Purdy, right? He can't go week 1. I'd start Lance one or 2 weeks just to try and get some good tape. And because then you have... later on you can trade him then and be like, look, he was good for 2 weeks or whatever it was, And then, but if he's bad, then you can just go straight back to Darnold, even if you believe in him more,
Mm-hmm.
But they're contenders. That's the problem. If this was any other team, it would be different. But they're contending.
Yeah, but they're not going to, even if they lose 2 weeks, they're not going to miss the playoffs. I would be really surprised. I don't know.
I agree. I just think you can't. I think they're not risking it, which is, I think, the QB battle. All right, moving right along, we got some other news to cover. Tyreek Hill, under investigation for battery and assault. So that's a pretty major story to keep an eye on. I don't think there's anything just yet to it. But if you're drafting now, I don't take him.
I'm not.
I think there's...
okay. Sorry.
Well, the victim said that he's willing, or they're willing to press charges. That has not happened yet. So they may back out. Who knows?
I'm not changing his ADP at all. Yet.
Wow. I'm not taking him.
Okay. I guess
right by.
I understand, right? But, like, it's just really confusing. This week is a tough week to be drafting if you're drafting. Because, and this is, why most people don't draft this early. Because he's being under investigation. Then the police close the investigation because he's not charging or having charges brought on, and then another thing comes out that says he's willing to press charges. So what does that mean? I think the scarier thing here is that if this was someone else, if this was Romeo Dobbs, right, some random player, I don't think any suspension could come, regardless of what happens. Because he didn't, from what I've gathered, he didn't like beat anyone. Like he just hit someone. I think the problem is that Tyreek Hill has a history of this, which then could cause a problem. You know, he was suspended for 2 games 2 years ago or something like that.
Yep.
So definitely something to keep an eye on. But I'm not panicking yet. Sounds like Jordan is full on panicking. So
until we know information, if I'm drafting this week, or if someone's trying to make me a trade for Tyreek Hill in like a dynasty league, for example, I'm not making that deal. Jake was trying to trade me Tyreek.
Yes, I was, but it was before this.
All right, some other news, some small things. Sony Michel re-signs with the Rams. Interesting. He's back. Super Bowl champion, Sony Michel.
I missed that. That's a good landing spot for him.
Yeah, right behind Cam Akers. So I think that's.
Was he on the team last year?
He was not.
So he won the Super Bowl, then wasn't on. Did he go anywhere? That's what I'm trying to remember. I don't know, off the top of my head. But anyways, keep going. Sorry, I'll look it up.
Okay. Other things. It looks like Kyler expected to start the season on the PUP list, which means Colt McCoy projected starter for the start of the season there for the Cardinals, which just helps our case of what are the Cardinals doing.
36 carries for the Chargers last year.
Oh, okay. Great. Sony Michel.
Yeah, that's
Love Colt McCoy. Love him.
No, you don't. Not in fantasy.
I don't. No, I don't.
Yeah, I think Kyler is a decent, very late round pick though. If you stash him on your bench, kind of how you did with DeAndre Hopkins. So, we'll see.
Yeah.
Other info is some things we'll get to later on when we talk about the Buccaneers. It looks like Baker Mayfield is going to be QB1 heading into the season, or that's the latest reports out of camp there for the Buccaneers. So we'll touch on that later. But first, Kyle Trask. So some interesting news there. Jahan Dotson came out at Washington Commanders, and he said Sam Howell, he's going to be our guy. The Commanders organization has not confirmed it, but that's what Dotson's saying.
I think Sam Howell is sneaky.
Yeah.
Especially in dynasty leagues, because all these quarterbacks, these new quarterbacks are going first, and Sam Howell is essentially a rookie, and he's the starter.
Totally,
and he's the unquestioned starter. Like it's not going to be Jacoby Brissett. It won't be. Sorry, Adam. It's just not going to be.
I know. I wish it was, but I agree.
Last thing, J.K. Dobbins holding out at minicamp over a contract situation. So more running back drama. These running backs trying to get
Jordan. He is holding in. He's there. He's there. He's
Excuse me.
It's one of those things where he's like, my hamstring hurts.
What has he done to earn the right to
That's the weird part. So we talked last week that Jonathan Taylor was not complaining, but he was talking about wanting to possibly want a new contract. That makes perfectly sense. Fine. But what has J.K. Dobbins done? He's never been healthy. He's effective when he's playing, but just a weird, he played 8 games last year. Just a weird thing to be like, I want a new contract.
Weird flex, bro.
But I mean, can you blame him? He can't stay healthy.
No. And
he has an opportunity to make money. He should do it, you know.
And it just seems like it's the running back market. Like all these running backs are doing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where they're holding out or they're talking, or holding in. Jake.
Yes. Pull yourself together, Jordan.
All right, that's it for the news. I'm ready to go.
All right, let's dive in, Jake. Let's get through this. So we got Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, Tampa. Let's let Adam pick today. Give me the rankings of how this division is going to end.
Don, I'm sorry, man. The Saints will be number 1. The Buccaneers will be a close second. The Panthers will be a close third. And the Falcons will be a close 4th. It's honest to goodness. I think any of these 4 teams could win it. So I'm not going to be shocked either way, but that's my projection.
Jordan, how do you feel about that?
Okay. I think the Panthers are going to be in play. I
was going to say the same thing.
If the Panthers are in a different division, I don't feel that way. Yeah. But I'm looking at the Panthers. This is a winnable division. I think the Panthers could be sneaky. If Bryce Young is even remotely effective early on in the season, I'm I'm kind of digging the Panthers in this.
Well, it's Andy Dalton right now.
Oh,
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
They come out recently and they've said, "Hey,
Okay.
Bryce Young is." They haven't said officially like Bryce Young's the guy, but they're
it's Bryce Young's the guy.
all reports. All reports are.
Do you have? Does 9 wins win this division?
Oh yeah,
9-8. Enough?
8-9 could win it.
It would be stunning if any one of these teams got 10 wins.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked.
I would agree. All right, then let's start with the worst. We got the Atlanta Falcons. Adam, you're going to talk quarterbacks, and you're going to talk. Sorry, not this tight end. Jordan gets to talk about this tight end. So, Adam, you can do quarterbacks for the Panthers and the Saints. How about
And
that?
when he said quarterbacks, he meant tight ends.
Yes, I did. And then I will take receivers, and Jordan, you will take running backs.
Love it.
Sound good? So
Sounds
why don't we
great.
talk about Desmond Ridder?
I don't got a lot to say. He's pretty unproven yet. Had 4 games last year. Was efficient. Didn't throw a pick, which is pretty impressive, to be honest. He had a lot of hype coming out of college. He finished his QB 45 last year. Current ADP undrafted. Currently projected finish to be QB 31. Don't take him in a redraft. Do not. Okay, unless it's QB2 and you really like his upside, great. But I've never been a big fan of him. He was a great college quarterback, but that does not translate always to the NFL. So that's my 2 cents on Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, for him, I'd rather see those rushing yards go up, right? And I mean, I assumed they would. So I think he could hold. Depending on a matchup in a bye week, right? And you're looking at really bad quarterbacks, let's say you've got injuries, you might be able to throw him in for a week and just hope for a rushing touchdown, right? Because he offers that, but yuck. Just yuck.
I think he's going to be a better fantasy quarterback than he will be actual quarterback.
Like Marcus
I just
Mariota.
think, like Marcus Mariota, I was just about to make that comp, that Marcus Mariota was, like, you could play him any week in fantasy, even though they were losing every game.
Yep.
And I think he's just kind of a worse stat, at least at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think towards the end, he could be in a 2-quarterback league, he could be worth a stash, later in the year. But yeah, I agree with you, Adam. He's not worth drafting, not at this point.
Will Desmond Ridder be the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons next year?
Well, that depends on
Kind of
this
a
year.
coin flip. I don't know.
How do you think his year is? Do you think he is?
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, there you go. Everybody remember that. Jordan, let's talk about these running backs.
Interesting running back room, I would say. So last year they started with Cordell Patterson, who is doing well. And I mean, the year before he had an awesome season.
Mm-hmm.
He was winning leagues because of how well his season was 2 years ago. Then kind of halfway through the season, it started to flip a little to Tyler Algiers, who put together a 1,000-yard season. He finished his running back 22. He was a running back 3. And he was really the guy for the back half of the year. And then they drafted Bijan Robinson. So I was kind of high on Tyler Algiers. I was like, hey, this could be fun. This is a young guy. So then they took Bijan Robinson, who is exciting. He's electric, awesome offensive player. He's the one you want on the Falcons from a fantasy perspective. Bijan's currently going in the 4th round as running back 16. I think that continues to go up and up and up as we get closer to the season. For Bijan Robinson, I think he's the only one you want, to be honest. I think drafting him took the other 2 more out of contention. I see Jake's face, and I feel like he's about to say he still wants Tyler Algiers.
I do. And I'm not being a homer here because I do own him in our home league. I acknowledge that. He is one great handcuff if anything were to go down. So any decent handcuff should be being drafted. It's kind of weird that some handcuffs like AJ Dillon are going in the 8th round. Before Dalvin Cook got cut, Antonio, I do it every time. Alexander Madison, gosh darn it. He was also being taken, 10th round. So I just think, all I was going to say is I think Bijan's the guy. I don't doubt that. I also watched so in our home league, I had Patterson and Algier last year. And watching that, there were 3 running backs, because they also had Caleb Huntley, who were all part of that offense. So I think it'd be different. And they re-signed Cordell Patterson. So I think it'd be different on a different team. I just don't see Bijan coming in and just being 3 down every single time to start, I should say. So I think Algier has value. I think he should be being taken.
It's interesting because the only other running back that has it, like, that's currently being drafted is actually Cordell Patterson. He's going in the 13th round,
which is
right
wrong.
now.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
My
Which
question
is bizarre.
is,
Yeah, I agree.
Do they move him to receiver because their receiving core is so thin, and he had that? That was how he was drafted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they've showed, or in practice, I was reading that he's lining up at receiver.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, and they are using him in different formations, whether or not he's lining, my thought is if he's lining up at receiver and maybe they're motioning him or they're starting him off in the slot and then they move him back, right, doing one of those things. When they typically do that, or a lot of times when they do that, they still have a running back there. So if Algier's on the field, he might, he could be talking touches. But like I said, Bijan will probably end up going in the first round of drafts, and he should be. All I was thinking was he shouldn't be undrafted. He's a second-year running back who just ran for 1,000 yards as a rookie. I was bummed when Bijan went here.
We all know how the running back position's changing right now, though. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Falcons are going to be. I think everyone is going to be able to run, and everyone will be able to catch a pass on that on that offense. So, but that takes us into our pass catchers, Jake.
Yes. So here's a weird stat. Mac Hollins, coming over from the Raiders, wide receiver 2 on this team. He played 17 games. He had 57 receptions, 690 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He's undrafted. Then we got Drake London, the rookie from last year. He also played in 72 games. He had 15 more receptions and 150 more yards. And he's going in the 7th round. Like, Drake London was wide receiver 38. Mac Hollins was wide receiver 42.
I think
I saw that hype.
The potential, though, yeah.
It's 100% its potential. But the point is they're both going to be, like, which do you want? I don't know. This is a great example of value, right? Do you want London in the 7th round? Or would you rather have Mac Hollins in the 15th?
Mac Hollins.
And just saying that sounds yucky because Mac Hollins probably isn't that good, right? But Mac Hollins holds value. And Jordan's looking up who's around Drake London right now. But Mac Hollins holds some really good value as probably the 3rd pass catcher on that team, behind Jordan's favorite tight end in the world, Kyle Pitts. So who's around Drake London?
It's loading.
Oh, geez. Come on. You're ruining the podcast.
Oh, no.
What, do you got, Charter over there or what?
Dial up. Is it still loading?
It's taking its
Oh
time,
my
but
gosh.
I got it now.
All right.
I got it now. Okay. So people going around our dear friend Drake London are DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk,
Oh my god.
Christian Kirk,
Oh my god.
Darren Waller.
Oh my god.
And actually, since I made this chart that I was talking about him going in the 7th round, it's actually increased a little.
Yikes.
He's up into the 6th now, back half of the 6th round.
Hate that.
Wow.
I want all those receivers
People are
over.
drafting him.
Yeah. So we don't like that ADP right now. I'd like to see that ADP fall. I think London could be really great. I really do. But I just don't feel comfortable at the 7th round taking him. He is a fade at the 7th round. Definitely fade at the 6th round. And then
I agree, Jake.
Excellent. Jordan,
Drake
talk about Kyle
London,
Pitts.
fade.
All right, my dear friend Kyle Pitts. So last year, super hyped. He was getting drafted as like tight end 2 or 3, and it's because you saw it in college. Like he was an awesome tight end. He had so much hype as a pass catching tight end, which is exactly. And then his rookie year, he had 1,000 yards, like 1 touchdown, but whatever, neither here nor there. And then last year, he just put together a snoozer of a year. He played in only 10 games. He had 28 receptions, 2 touchdowns, 350 yards. And that is just too bad of a season to have taken him probably in the 4th round of your draft. And as your first tight end, you probably didn't take another tight end. Like, he ruined people's teams because you drafted him so high in that tier with like Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce. You took Kyle Pitts, and he finished as tight end 33. He was not even worth being on your team like the whole season. And that's just hard. That's a tough pill to swallow. I think he does better this year. Like, he will improve. He will absolutely do better. I think the offense is a little more exciting, right? Like Desmond Ridder, I think it's young. Bijan Robinson, I like what they're doing in Atlanta. I think it's a good rebuild. Arthur Smith, their head coach, does not value this pass-catching tight end. Like, that is not part of his scheme. It's not part of his playbook. So I'm not taking him as tight end 4 in the 5th round. That is a little bit of, I think he's still overhyped, and it's also a little bit of my feeling about taking tight ends early. I skip him. Pass this year on Kyle Pitts.
Love it. I agree. Adam?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yikes. Right? Rather have Hawkinson if I'm going to take one early.
Yep.
Yes. Gross. Let's go ahead and because I asked Adam and he decided the order. Let's go Carolina Panthers here. Let's try to zoom through this because right now there is only one person that is being drafted on this team.
Yep.
So go ahead and talk about Bryce Young quick. 1 minute. Go.
Okay, Bryce Young, uber talented, apparently is trending to be the starter. I think he'll have a fantastic career. He is not worth it in a redraft right now, projected to finish QB 24. He could have a really good breakout year as a rookie. We don't know. He's athletic, obviously. He could score a lot of touchdowns in the run game, but ultimately there's a big question mark. If he falters, do they put in Andy Dalton? We don't know. Could Andy Dalton start? We don't know. So there's my take on Bryce Young.
Jordan?
Yeah, I think I was a little critical of Bryce Young compared to some of the other quarterbacks. I will say that. When I'm looking at his situation in Carolina, I actually like it. I like that there's Miles Sanders. He's a solid running back. I like that they brought in Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Hayden Hurst. I know I'm just running through those guys, but like good pass catchers. I think he's set up for some level of success there. They're obviously still in a rebuild, but that's kind of why I think the Panthers are sneaky in this division. Is I kind of like the situation that he's in. So undrafted is the right spot for him in a 1 QB redraft. But I do think he's one. Just keep an eye on. If he starts playing the first couple of games and they're looking pretty good, might be worth a waiver pickup.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's 2 quarterback league. He might hold a little value.
Yeah, agreed. Jumping into Miles Sanders. So last year we talked a lot about Miles Sanders. He finished
Allow me.
ranked 10.
Allow me.
Oh, Jake,
allow me
please.
to. I'm gonna set my phone down for this one.
Oh,
Let me buckle
Well,
up.
no,
and
I
say-
was texting or something. I love Miles Sanders this year.
oh no.
Yeah, I know. Am I allowed to
What?
do that? He is in
No.
one of the only situations. So let me talk about Miles Sanders. He is in one
Can I
of the.
just preface this? After what you said about him, go back and listen to yourself. You don't have a right, but we're going to give you the right here.
They were personal attacks against Miles Sanders, Jake. These weren't just
He
a
will
situation.
never come on the show.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
He is one of the
Continue.
few people who is a true 3-down back in the NFL, and he proved me wrong with 1,200 yards last year, 11 tutties, 78 receptions. He is going.
20 receptions.
Thank you, 78 yards. Going in the 5th round. Love the ADP if it stays there. I love Miles Sanders this year. Do you guys have anything else to add?
You got anything to book here? Because I would love a book it right now.
Oh, book it. Assuming health.
You can think about it.
Assuming health, because that was a big thing of why one of the reasons I didn't like him last year was the health. I didn't think he'd stay
Assuming
healthy.
health, yes.
Assuming
Yes.
health, I will say the yardage is the same, roughly around 1,200 yards, and I think he gets. I mean, this isn't a huge bucket. I think he doubles the receptions. I think he gets 40 receptions.
Okay.
I think so. I guess he'll have a better year this year. It's the 11 touchdowns, which you can never predict, you know. But
Wow.
I think statistically he could have a better year this year.
So you think he's finishing in the top 10 again?
Yes.
Wow, Jake.
I gotta give you props though. A lot of people don't like retracting their statements.
I'll acknowledge I was wrong. I was just
Yeah.
wrong. And he'd been not very good the first coming years, and he just went off. And then he walks into a better spot when it comes to getting carries. Maybe not
Jordan,
a
I
better
think this
offense.
is Jake's way of trying to jinx him so he does worse.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out on Miles Sanders this year because of that. Yep, that's a curse. That's a curse if I've ever heard it, Jake. I think that is. Yeah, I'm out.
Look, he did there. That was great.
I don't think he has. I don't think he finishes in the top 10, but I still think he's a good value. He's getting drafted as running back 19. I think that's where he finishes. I think he's a low end running back 2 with low end running back 1 upside, and But I like his situation. I agree. I just don't think he repeats the same season as last year. He doesn't have Jalen Hurts as a threat, to do an option or read option for him. I don't think the same.
I hear you.
Threat is
All right, let's keep it going. The receivers, I'm just going to cut you off completely, Jordan. We got Adam Thielen, DJ Chark. Adam Thielen's going in the 14th round. DJ Chark going in the undrafted. I think they both hold good value here because they're being taken late, right? For me, I'd rather have Chark only because he's a little younger, a little bit more faster, big
Deep
playability.
threat, yeah.
But it's close. And then who is going to talk about these tight ends?
Me, Hayden Hurst.
Talk about him.
Yep, he finishes tight end 27. He's going as tight end 24. Don't take him. And then our main man, Tommy Tremble.
Tommy Tremble, the legend, the myth.
Love me.
We just had to throw him on this.
I don't know why I pointed up to this guy like he's deceased, but
he's around, man.
He's around. He's still playing. Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns last year. That's something.
3.
One of the best blocking tight ends in Notre Dame history. So,
All right.
You
heard it here.
Let's all right, boys. Let's keep it moving. We only got 17 minutes left, so let's keep it going. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Some of our most loyal listeners are big Buccaneers fans. So, Adam, talk about Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield.
Well, as we alluded to, Kyle Trask, it sounds like will not be the starter. He could start when Baker does what Baker does, and I think Baker will do what Baker does.
Oh, jeez.
And fade rather quickly into oblivion. First 6 games of the year are all Baker's. I will say that. Baker's probably going to start at all 6 games to start the year. When he starts to falter and they're, 2-4, sorry, Don. Kyle Trask will be trotted out there, and he'll look okay. He'll look mediocre. He'll look bad at times. But they're going to give him the rest of the year because they got to see what they got in him because he's a young quarterback. Played pretty well at Florida when he was there at Florida University. Both are going undrafted. Stay away from them. That's what I got.
Great. I don't want to talk more about that.
Good.
Jordan, talk about Rachaad White, Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, so Rachaad White, it looks like he is the guy right now. They brought in Chase Edmonds, Chase Edmonds always kind of fills that change of pace back. He has a role.
Mm-hmm.
Chase Edmonds always has a role. Looks like Rachaad White is going to be their primary back. He's the one getting drafted. He's getting taken in the 9th. This is running back 33. What do you guys feel about that ADP? Running back 33 in the 9th.
I mean, I think it's good value.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Because Chase Edmonds has an injury history, he's the starter. It just seems like the team didn't trust him that much. That's kind of how I felt. That's always the vibe I got with him. Obviously, he was young and things like that. So I'm hoping for a step forward from him. He finished running back 42. I'd like to see him finish in the running back 3 territory this year.
So you guys know I love Rachaad White. I think he has serious upside. I think he does really well this year. So if you can snag him at that ADP,
it's really good value. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My concern with it is he had 50 receptions, which is major for a running back last year, and I think that's because of who was Tom Brady. And I just don't think he replicates 50 receptions with Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask.
But the thing is he could easily double, if not more double, his rushing yards.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
And only the 1 touchdown. I agree. Love White at that ADP if it stays there. I'd still probably love it even if it got up to the 7th round. I feel okay about that, but not much higher than that. Let's talk about receivers. We got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage. Russell Gage, undrafted. Let's leave it like that. He holds value if one of the other 2 goes down because they have shown injury situations before. Mike
or
Evans,
if Tom Brady comes back.
or if Tom Brady comes back. Mike Evans going in the 7th. Chris Godwin going in the 8th. How do you feel about both of those?
Bad.
I don't feel good about it either.
Well, I think they have been the most overrated receiving room the last 4 years.
Okay, no. They are both uber talented.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. They're uber talented. They get drafted way higher than their ADP. Yours truly loves Chris Godwin, and he's let me down a lot. Mike Evans produces every year. What was that, Tom Brady, or was that Mike Evans? I just think they're a little overhyped every year.
Well, here's the thing, Adam. Chris Godwin finished as wide receiver 26, so he was a mid wide receiver 3.
Mm-hmm.
He's being drafted as a wide receiver 3 right now.
Yeah.
Mike Evans finished as a wide receiver 16, so he was a wide receiver 2, and he's being drafted as a wide receiver 3 right now.
Right.
So
I think it's dropped.
Yes.
But they both had 1,000-yard seasons last year, and I do not think either of them have 1,000-yard seasons this year.
You don't think Mike Evans keeps it going?
I already booked that.
Okay.
His streak ends this year. Baker Mayfield? Not a chance.
All right.
No way.
All right.
Did you see those clips in minicamp when Baker and Kyle Trask are missing wide open guys because there was no defense out there and just sailing them?
Oh my god.
It's gonna be a frustrating year in Tampa, and I get it. You kind of sold a little bit of the future so you could have a championship, and you got it. It worked. So I'm all about it. I have no beef with Tampa. This is fine. You did what you had to do. You got a Super Bowl for it. Now you kind of got to pay a little bit, and that's fine. It's just the hype is gone for me. It's dissolved.
Yeah. I think that Godwin has a better year than Mike Evans. I mean, we saw a lot of long touchdowns for Mike Evans. And I think
might unfollow us.
Chris Godwin is a PPR, could be a PPR monster.
Yeah.
Which I
104 receptions last year.
Yeah. And then tight ends, spend 30 seconds, Jordan. Or Adam.
It's K. Dotton. Oh, Adam, please.
K. Dotton, great. 16 games, 391 yards, 2 touchdowns, going undrafted. Finished tight end 31, projected tight end 35. It is what it is. Yeah, bye-bye. Really wows. You can pick him up in the waiver. But
second-year tight ends, give me Greg Dulcich over him.
And
so,
yeah.
All right, let's talk about the last one. Saints, I think this is our consensus for the winner of this division. Adam, how good do you think Derek Carr is going to be coming over from Las Vegas? Yeah.
I think he is going to play mean. He's mad with how it ended in Las Vegas. He never got the help he deserved there. I mean, they got Devontae Adams last year, but he was kind of pooped on last year at the end of the season when they started Stidham over him, and he was the poster boy for the Raiders for years.
They did him dirty.
Raiders, huh?
They did him dirty.
They did. He was so much into winning them a championship. The fans loved them, and the organization just said, "See you later." So I think he's going to play really well. He's projected QB 17 right now. I think he finishes higher than that. Borderline top 12.
Come on, book a top 10. Book it.
A top 10?
The only reason I'm thinking about it, I have not done a lot of book hits compared to you, Jake.
Exactly. So get one of them books. Come on.
I'll make a different one. I will book it. Derek Carr throws over 30 touchdown passes and has under 10 interceptions.
Okay, so a really good year.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably top 10.
That's probably top 10.
Yep, so I think he's going to have a really good year. I think, like I said, he's going to play angry, and he's going to want to win really bad for the Saints because that's an organization that's believed in him ever since they signed him now. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I love end of the 13th round. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. If he's my backup QB, if he's on my bench, that has such good upside as quarterback there in the 13th round.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
I'd rather that in the 13th than Kirk in the 9th.
Yeah. Jumping into running backs.
I could say though I wouldn't mind a Kirk in the 9th and then turn around and take Carr in the 13th and then play matchups. I think that would be a very viable situation.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
All right, I'm looking at running backs. We have Alvin Kamara, finished running back 18, currently being drafted as running back 27 in the 7th round. Right behind him at running back 29 getting drafted is Jamal Williams. That is just neck and neck.
It's super interesting.
Super interesting. I think it all depends on what happens with Alvin Kamara's court dates and things like that. I think right now, if I'm drafting, so I'm drafting in June or July before we know, that's too high for me. 7th round is too high to take someone who could be suspended. And I said that last year too, and he didn't get suspended. And he finished as running back 18. So it was kind of okay value, but still, he was getting taken probably around there. That was kind of his tempered expectation was running back 18. I think it's more likely he gets suspended. So I think Jamal Williams in the 8th is more enticing to me than Alvin Kamara at the end of the 7th.
And we all love Jamal.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a locker room guy. He's
the only way as of June 22nd that I'm getting Alvin Kamara is if I am drafting at one of the corners of the draft, so pick 1 or 10, and you go back to back. And you take Kamara, and then you take Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
I don't know if I do that, though.
That's the only way it would work. I mean, because you would need to cover yourself in case of the suspension.
Yeah.
And then after that, depending on how Williams does, who knows what it looks like. Like, who's going to be the guy, and it could be a headache. So.
Yep.
But I do expect a suspension. I think I have predicted, 4 games. I think a 6 is what will come down, and then down to a 4. Which, I mean, in that case, 4 really isn't that long. I'm just saying.
Should be longer, but yeah.
Okay, all right.
We can't get into that.
All right,
today.
All right. Receivers. By the way, individually, we like both of them. I think that's the thing. It's just right now, how do we make a prediction? Right now, we're staying away. Right? But we will talk about that when that suspension comes. And then make more definite talk about it. Receivers, we got Chris Olave and Michael Thomas, Rashid. Jeez, I can't talk about that. I think I'm having a stroke. Hold on a second. Rashid Shaheed. I'm not going to say his name again because we're not drafting him right now. Chris Olave is a monster. That's my thought. So he is being taken 4th round. Wide receiver 15, so a mid-second round. That's if you're taking him there, I think his upside is top 10.
For sure. Yeah.
Especially with Derek Carr. I think that he's I don't know who's going around him off the top of my head. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Jordan. But I really like it. I really like him. I think that he's one of those guys that you could take there and that he could end up as a top 10 receiver.
Yeah, Devonta Smith, Calvin Ridley, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf. So it's Devonta Smith, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Deebo, DK.
I would take him over Devonta Smith.
You would take him. I would consider taking him above all of the guys that I just mentioned. Yep.
So, really like that. Really love him this year. Michael Thomas, for me, for Michael Thomas, it's finally a good value, is what I'm saying. So for an 11th round guy, just listen, Adam. Stop rolling your eyes.
Okay.
We talked about respect in the pre-show.
That's true. I'm sorry.
Jeez. He's never healthy, right? But when he is, he produces numbers. And finally, his ADP is something where I feel comfortable taking a flyer. An 11th round for a guy who could give you wide receiver 2 numbers if he's healthy. I will take that 10 times out of 10, twice on Sundays. And if he gets hurt and doesn't play at all, then I lost an 11th round pick, and it's probably not going to kill my team.
Yeah,
Adam?
I think I agree with that. Previously he had been overdrafted for what he was, which was awesome, record-breaking kind of years. And so people were drafting him too high for what he was giving you, which was injury history, maybe not playing, some complicated politics in New Orleans. So I agree with you, Jake. I think right now, 11th round, I'd take him there because it's if he plays, that's awesome. He's going to be great. And Derek Carr can have 2 wide receivers who are in play or viable.
So I agree with both of you. I do.
But
just retire.
Oh, yeah.
Just retire. I'm so sick of every year, and again, he's not overhyped this year, but oh my God, he's hurt all the time. What's his body going to look like in 10 years? Retire, man.
Robot. Like Gronk.
Retire. That's why I rolled my eyes. I'm sorry. It wasn't at you. It was just I'm so sick of him getting hurt every year. I mean, come on.
Yeah. All right. Talk about Juwan Johnson and Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill.
So, Juwan Johnson finished tight end 8 last year. Interesting enough, Taysom Hill finished tight end 3 last year, so they had 2 top 10 tight ends. Here's why Taysom Hill finished tight end 3. He had 575 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. He had 77 reception yards and 2 touchdowns. So,
and then he threw, sorry, my chart got cut off. He threw for 240 yards and another 2 touchdowns. So he had 11 touchdowns.
Unbelievable. His contract's working out. It was a quarterback contract, but it's working out for his value of a touchdown machine. I love me some Taysom Hill. Should he be listed as a tight end? They got to create a Taysom Hill spot on the depth chart in most fantasy leagues because it's just ridiculous that he was tight end 3 last year. But anyway, he's really good. His value's good as an ADP 14.3, finishing tight end 18. Now, if he continues his rushing production, that will obviously skyrocket.
And it should if Kamara gets suspended.
Right. And again, out of the tight ends here, take Hill over Juwan Johnson just because he's – I just think they're going to use Taysom Hill more. Johnson will have more receiving yards. He's more of a prototypical tight end. But, again, both of them are going to be valued for the Saints organization. So, just a question mark, right? Can Hill do it again in year 33 or 34, whatever, how old he is? But, again, it's a weird tight end room.
It's just a cheat code. It's just unfair. It's unfair. Wild. And so that's why you want him. And he gets drafted in he's getting drafted in the 14th round. It's like that. Like, you take a tight end and then you take Taysom Hill. Like, great. Good for you. The problem is he's not consistent. He doesn't, always produce every – look at, Juwan Johnson. You could play him every week, and he would give you, 8 to 12 points. Taysom Hill gives you 30 or gives you 2, and there is no in between with Taysom Hill.
Which is why some of us sat Taysom Hill on the weeks he had really good games rushing, and I wasted him on the bench.
All right, boys. So there you go. There's the NFC South. We are done breaking things down. Next week we are going to break down the June League. And then after that, I'm not exactly sure what after that, but we'll figure it out. We're open. We're open for business. So yeah, we'll break down the June League. Before we go, guys, Money in the Bank is this Saturday. Who do you guys got winning the briefcase?
Excuse me, what? What is it you say?
Wrestling. Who do you guys got winning the briefcase?
The team won.
No teams. It's a ladder match.
Okay, well, give me a name.
Named Tiny Tim. I know there's a guy named Tiny Tim.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that is a performer of some sort. So you've got Tiny Tim. Jordan, who do you got?
Yes.
Okay, that is the correct answer. Thank you. The current betting favorite.
The Rock.
Guys, the current betting favorite is Logan Paul.
No.
Oh.
You see, and that's how we all feel.
Oh.
All right.
I wasn't really going to watch, but now I'm definitely not going to watch.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. You can find us on YouTube. We are live for these episodes 7:30 Central Time on Thursdays. If you're watching this later, try to be here next week. It's fun to have you. Our chat is poppin', as the kids say. If you're listening to it later, come on in. We want to see you. We want to hear from you. We had a new person pop in today. Just want to quickly shout out the JJL Sports Talk Show was in here for a minute. So appreciate you coming around. You can find us on Facebook at the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. That's where pretty much all the important information is. We have a Patreon if you want to financially help us out. Again, no pressure there, but it's there if you want to help us. You can find that on the Facebook page as well. We have an Instagram, next_step_pod. Trying to build that up. So if you're listening, well, you are listening, pause your phone, grab your phone, go over there and hit the follow button. Is that what they use on Instagram? Yep.
Big things coming.
Nailed it. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We're one away from 20 subscribers, so who wants to be number 20? Boys, you got anything else to say?
Nothing from me.
Go Broncos. Go Irish. Go Twins. Go Tigers, baby.
All right, guys. Thanks. Take care. Be good. All right, we're still live on YouTube, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Don says, "Can't wait to hear what the big news is." It is
Smoke
big
and
news
mirrors right now, Don.
Smoke and mirrors. It is some big news, but we're not going to talk about it until it is for sure happening. But yeah, we got some fun stuff. We have 4 spots left in the July league. If you guys want to jump in there, you might even ask one of my co-hosts to join in because neither of you are in it. They both shrugged because they're already in way too many leagues.
I'm leaving my spot open for people if they want it,
yeah.
and then I'm happy to join if you need a spot.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But we're leaving that open for the loyal listeners.
He's doing you guys a favor.
I'm a man of the people.
Oh,
this is a democracy.
All right,
All right, guys.